Welcome to Kitaabi Cabins. So I woke up this morning. I worked on a few plans that we have for Kitaabi Cabins in the near future that you might get a chance to witness. I was sipping on warm water when I realized I wanted to make a video, which hasn't happened to me in a really long time. Just haven't found the right motivation or the push to get in front of the camera. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about two books that I picked up in 2023 and I couldn't finish them. If I had the opportunity, I would go back in time and do that again, which I can, in all honesty, but I'm not sure if I will. Anyway, the first book that I picked up, I think it was March. We were reading the great Indian novel by Dr. Chalchitra for a book a month, and I was traveling to Calcutta and I lost the book at the airport. Now, it's a very tiny thing to happen to somebody, but books are my refuge. I grew up with a father who had a transferable job, so that meant there were no permanent friends. And in those times, I really grew up to be comfortable around books. I was traveling to a place recently and I realized I always carry books, but I never read them. So I decided on not carrying a book. And the trip was filled with anxiety for me. I did not know what to do. And the first thing that I did after reaching my destination was to buy a book and carry it with me for the rest of the trip. So I was reading the great Indian novel, was very excited about it. By the way, if you ever come across my copy, please let me know. I really worked hard with the notes and the markings and the margins, etc. But that was my first tryst with destiny when it came to books this year. That's a great book. I think you should read it though. The way Dr. Chalchitra has taken inspiration from Mahabharata and written the whole political scene of India, I think that's a must read if you are someone who's intrigued by history, mythology, and of course the independence struggle of India. Coming to the next book, which is something we picked very recently. It was October. We picked up The Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shree, Ret Samadhi. I started with the Hindi original of the text. It was beautiful, but I realized I'm not as comfortable as I once was with Hindi, because I think over time I stopped reading books in Hindi, and now I've made it a commitment that I'm going to pick up as many Hindi books as I can in 2024. I just saw the lighting on my face and it's horrifying because it's early in the morning. I've not had a shower. I've just been up and I haven't even washed my face. And obviously I look horrifying, but the lighting is also flawed. But let's try to film this without this one. I was loving the book. I was on a trip. It was a destination wedding, so we were traveling farther away. So I took Tomb of Sand. And I thought I'd finish the book. Actually, I did not have high hopes. But when I started reading the book, I realized, oh my God, this is a beautiful book. And I got so inspired that I started writing down the pointers that I would have when I make a video. I know a lot of people will disagree. There were so many people in the book club who were talking about how it's boring. They don't know where the author is going. But for me, I think I've cried on almost every page. I did not expect Tomb of Sand to surprise me in that way. But then, as fate would have it, I left my book by mistake by the pool at night because I was reading it before I went to bed. The next morning, out of nowhere, it rained. It rained so badly that this is how the book looks like. Yeah, it's not at all nice. I mean, yeah. But nonetheless, I have a few things underlined that I'd like to share with all of you. The first line of the book says, "A tale tells itself. It can be complete but also incomplete, the way all tales are." There's another line here about words, where she says words, but what are words really? They're mere sounds with meanings dangling from them. They have no logic. They find their own way, arising from the squabble between a sinking body and a drowning mind. They grab hold of antonyms. The seed planted was a date tree. What blossomed was hibiscus. They wrestle with themselves, wrapped up in their own game. There's also a point where I realized I have to make a video on it, and I've marked it somewhere in the book. And I think it's chapter 11. And they're talking about chrysanthemums, I hope that's the correct pronunciation, that are growing in the garden of the protagonist. Somebody's inviting the other person to witness them because they're beautiful and they look amazing, and they think that they'll be very mood uplifting. And the writer writes, whether or not the chrysanthemums heard, it made no difference to them. It was their season. They were enjoying leaping up at the slightest thing, and so continued on with this pastime. They were not thinking ahead. They weren't about to stop leaping, and they bounced about as though they had springs coiled in them. How Gitanjali Shri has managed to personify so many objects of daily life. It's just a book about space, about life, from as much as I could read it. It starts out and says it's a tale about a daughter-mother relationship, but it soon engulfs you and becomes a story about life. And I'm pretty certain I'm going to pick it up eventually, but these two instances broke me in 2023. And I just wish nothing like this would happen to me or anybody who follows Kitaabi Cabins. Now I have 3 copies of the great Indian novel. 1 I bought for myself, 2 were gifted to me by friends who would who saw me miserable and decided, okay, this might be one of the best presents for her this year. Anyway, let me know if you've read either of the books. Let me know if you decide to pick them up because of this video. And I hope I'll be back again in 2024 sometime where I would have read the books and I would film extensively about them and the heartbreak that they've caused me. For now, I am reading The Garden of Words. So far, it's been a wonderful ride with Garden of Words. I am being very careful. I'm not taking it anywhere beyond this workspace that I have. And I will see you guys in the next video.